Introducing the epic new Swift. Time to go swifting.
Mumbai Indians are so used to being in the IPL come the business end of the competition. Lucknow Super Giants don't know what it's like to not be in the playoffs of this tournament, and yet as these two sides meet for their last league stage fixture, they know that the tournament ends at this stage for them this time around. We build up to match number 67, MI versus LSG at Wankhede on Maruti Suzuki Arena, presents ESPNcricinfo Timeout, powered by JBL, in the company of McClenaghan and Wasim Jaffer. A fixture low on league stage consequence, but not low on subplots. In particular, Rohit Sharma, 13 years and 200 plus games later. There's a very good chance this might be the last time we see Rohit Sharma in the MI colours. If it were to be the last, what will be the lasting legacy for you, Mitch, of Rohit at Mumbai Indians?
Oh, I guess the fact that he's a winner. He's won five titles, so that's impressive. Up there with the most successful players in the IPL and most successful captain as well of all time. So I think he's just a class act. He's a leader of men, and I say that with a lot of emphasis on the leading side. He gives you a lot of confidence as a player. He backs you all the time, but he's also very approachable, and he seems to form connections, particularly with players who come into the setup. He knows how important it is to get everyone moving in the right direction, in the same direction, and he does that exceptionally well. So that's probably going to be one of my lasting memories is of him as a leader. I guess one of the things he did exceptionally that I didn't see a lot of other leaders do was his preparation. Extremely well prepared as a captain. So he would be sitting in on every bowler's meeting, listening to your discussions with the bowling coach or the coach, and would try and find ways to kind of add a little bit or just understand you and how you think a little bit more. And quite often under pressure on the field, it was quite easy to go to him and say, well, this is my plan to this guy, and this is plan B and plan C. And he knew what you were talking about. So there was never any tug and pull on the field. He just trusted the plans because he'd seen them before. And I think that's what sets him apart as a leader on the field. And I guess from a performance point of view, one of my favourite memories of Rohit Sharma was at 50 off 26 in the 2015 final in in Kolkata against Chennai. That partnership with Lendl Simmons just took the game away from Chennai, and a game which we were obviously very nervous going into, and for him and Lendl to go out and perform the way that they did just made the game so much easier from that point on.
We speak so often, Wasim, of CSK and what life will be like for them after Dhoni, but has this season also been a good indicator of just how that transition and how difficult that transition can be when a long-term leader leaves the scene?
For Rohit?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously everyone expected him to lead this season, which came as a surprise, that Hardik Pandya came in and became captain straight away. But he's, like Mitch has mentioned, he's been a terrific leader, somebody who's got them 5 titles. And I remember 2013 when he came in after they lost 5 games, and then they lost again 3 games, I think, and then they lost a couple of that again, and went on to win the trophy that season. And he himself performed really well. And at that time, he was batting at number 4, number 3, number 4. So, I mean, goes on to show his leadership qualities. He's a very good leader of men, and he gets everybody in the right direction. And he's very approachable, like Mitch said, all those qualities, and I have seen that beforehand in Mumbai. And it's sad that, a guy like him, I probably think it's his last game for Mumbai. I don't see him playing for Mumbai, but he's an IPL legend, an Indian legend. So he'll be definitely be missed. That legacy is not easy to create. Winning 5 titles, only MS Dhoni and Chennai has done it, and Mumbai has done it. So it's not easy to win 5 titles in such a short space of time, from 2013 to 2020. That is probably 8 seasons. So 5 trophies in 8 seasons is an amazing record.
If it were to be the last time, Rohit will dearly want to treat the Wankhede to one of his specials. We haven't seen much of that, especially in the second half of this campaign. It has been a season of 2 parts for Rohit Sharma. Started on such an explosive note. The runs were coming. He got a century even though it was in a losing cause. And there was consistency. But in the last 6 games, he seems to have fallen off a cliff. First part of the question, how concerning is Rohit's dip in form and what do you put it down to?
It's a little concerning, without a doubt. You want your, because in T20 cricket, you want your bulk of scoring to be done from top 4. So that is concerning, and Yashasvi Jaiswal is also not in the greatest of form. So that is definitely a concern. So you want him to get some runs under his belt. But he's a different player altogether. Come the World Cup, you might see a different Rohit Sharma, and that is all what we are hoping. But yeah, this kind of form is always going to concern the Indian fans and Indian people.
Becomes imperative to get that score just to get that feeling back heading into the World Cup?
Yeah, I think, well, Wasim said that come World Cup time, I think you'll see a different Rohit Sharma. I think there's been a lot of pressures externally. Obviously, he's very involved in the World Cup selection, through that process. So there would have been a lot of distractions outside, particularly in that middle to last couple of weeks of the IPL, particularly with the team not going as well as would have liked. And he probably was going out there and trying a little bit too hard to try and take a lot of that ownership and try and get Mumbai into a winning position. And you saw him taking chances that early that we don't usually see from Rohit. And I think we saw the Rohit Sharma in the first half of the tournament that we're going to see in the World Cup. So new environment, back with Rahul Dravid, leading the unit, one focus, everyone pushing in the same direction. I think you'll see Rohit Sharma back to his best.
Now looking at LSG, the individual we're focusing on here is Nicholas Pooran. He's had a good season by any metric, 400 plus runs, a healthy strike rate, but his entry point has been a subject of discussion all through. It's followed LSG, and why we bring it up again is just because conventional T20 wisdom dictates that you give your best batter the maximum chance to affect games. Is that something where LSG will look back at this season and feel like they could have done something differently?
Yeah, I think they went with the right plan at the start, where he can come in at 5 towards the back end of the innings and finish off the game. And as soon as they realised that they weren't getting scores that they could compete with the opposition, that's the point where they should have triggered putting Nicholas Pooran up at top, because there's one man who can get you 70, 80 off 30 or 40 balls, even 100 off 40 balls. It's Nicholas Pooran, and he's the one batsman in that lineup who could have made them compete with some of the higher strike rate, the higher scoring sides, and they've just been too late to put him in that position. And by default, he was in that position in the last game. He still came in at number 5 against Delhi, and we saw what he could do in the power play, how much of an impact that he did have. So, yep, if he is up the top of the order, you run the risk of him being out early, and then you've got to find a way to get through to a score. But with the way the IPL has been played at the moment, I think you have to take that risk, and he has to bat at 3 or 4.
You'd imagine, Wasim, that Pooran is part of the plans when you consider the retentions for LSG. Does this then become an important factor for them to consider when they go about rebuilding that side in the next auction?
Yeah, he definitely should be in their plans because he's a match winner. So there's no way they'll probably release him. But about the entry points, I think you can't have a fixed place for Nicholas Pooran. But I think they found the right mix when Stoinis batted at number 3. But any time after over number 8 or 9, or in fact 10, you could send Nicholas Pooran. So you feel this is the situation he could go in. But like Mitch said, there's a risk of him getting out early, and you haven't got a power hitter back down the order. So you want Nicholas Pooran to do bulk of the scoring. So you sometimes run the risk of him getting out early and not reaching the scores. But he can do a lot of damage in that last 5 overs, where Lucknow doesn't have that kind of same quality in that batting department. So when you've got only one player like that, you want him to use. And that's the same problem with SRH also with Klaasen. So I feel sometimes over number 9, 10 is the best entry point for Nicholas Pooran.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating next year in terms of their retentions, how they go about it. I think they need an explosive opening batsman to go with KL. Then if you retain Stoinis, then maybe 3, then Pooran. But then you've got to look at your locals like Shashank Singh if he doesn't get picked up, or Ramandeep or Rinku if they get released. And then you've got to make sure that you solidify your 6 and 7 with local Indian players who can go at a good strike rate at the back end.
All right, that gives us a potential peek into what LSG may have to decide later on. Not doing predictions for this one since there's not that much riding on this game, but I'd like a wish list from both of you. So, Mitch, something you want to see MI do in this last game, and one from the LSG side from you, Wasim.
Yeah, this game I'd like to see a Rohit Sharma 100 again. I'd just like to see him go down with good notes. And from LSG's point of view, I really want them to see them get out of the gates fast with the bat, put some pressure on Mumbai, their bowling unit, and then I'd like to see Nicholas Pooran bat at 3.
Wasim.
I'd like to see KL Rahul do well. I think he's under the pump for not a lot of fault of his. But since he's not in the World Cup, you want him to get runs and put his stake, the games after that. So a good, even 100 from KL Rahul would not do bad to LSG.
All right. Thank you so much, Mitch and Wasim, for your time. A deeper dive into just how the seasons unfolded for MI and LSG, the way they did, await you when we build up to the game. So be sure to join us just before toss time on Friday evening on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPNcricinfo Timeout, powered by JBL.
Introducing the epic new Swift. Time to go swifting.